Kelvin Benjamin has one of the most wild stories in football history. His rise and fall is so interesting to me, and I thought it was a wild story. That is before I found out his story gets even crazier because he is back in the NFL for the first time since 2018. He is now with the Giants trying his hand at the tight end position. And today we are going to do a super quick recap of his career up until this point, but we mainly want to focus on what this means for Kelvin and what it means for the Giants. Kelvin Benjamin is one of my favorite college receivers to watch. He has some of the most memorable and important catches in recent college football history, including a forgotten game-winning catch that Jameis Winston and Florida State beat Auburn, and it was a crazy championship game. And his tangibles made scouts drool going into the 2014 NFL draft. He was 6'6", 240 pounds with amazing hands. What didn't jump off the screen was his 40 time and his vertical jump. He ran a very slow 4.6 140 and had a 32.5-inch vertical. Incredibly impressive to the normal human, but for an NFL receiver, pretty poor. However, the tape very clearly shows a different story, and he can ball out at a very high level. And so the Carolina Panthers took him with the 28th pick in the first round. They lost Steve Smith, Brandon LaFell, and Ted Ginn in the offseason, so this pick made a ton of sense for them. Me and a lot of NFL fans were excited to see Kelvin pair up with Cam Newton, who was very impressive and approaching his MVP level, and he didn't disappoint. His debut, he had a very impressive 92 yards and a touchdown. For the season, he went over for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. His sophomore campaign was almost as impressive with 950 yards and 7 touchdowns, but the fall part of this story begins year 3, a combination of two things. He started to become at odds with Cam Newton, which is very crucial because the relationship between a quarterback and receivers is so important. But fans also started to notice his weight was an issue. It appeared as he was gaining a ton of weight and it was starting to affect his play. His numbers dropped, and midway through the season he was traded to Buffalo, but this season as a whole saw a huge drop in numbers. Going into 2018, he outwardly called out Cam Newton and said he wished he never went to Carolina because Cam didn't have the same knowledge or accuracy as other quarterbacks in the league. This beef continued, but Kelvin definitely looked bad in this situation because in Buffalo he played 12 games, got picked up by the Chiefs for the last 3 weeks, but only had 380 yards on the season. This was a major decline, and he hasn't played a game since. But this brings us to the present day, and after that 2018 season, Kelvin left a really bad taste in everyone's mouth. He dissed Cam publicly, he got significantly worse, and it was hard not to notice how much larger he had gotten. But he's not making a return as a wide receiver. Similarly, following the Tim Tebow method, he's coming back as a tight end, and the Giants are working out in his mini camp, but it's still unclear if they're going to sign him for the season, but I think they absolutely should. I think the weight gain makes it possible for him to play tight end because I think he's just too big and slow now to play outside receiver, but he also probably won't be much of a blocking tight end either. But what I like most about this pickup for the Giants is he adds depth to an already loaded receiving group. At tight end, they already have All-Pro Evan Ingram, and they just signed Kyle Rudolph. They have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, they added Kenny Galladay and John Ross, and they drafted Kadarius Toney in the first round of this year's draft. And they also have Saquon Barkley at running back. This gives you so much flexibility with what sets you can run. You can run 5 wide and spread out the field. You could run 3 tight end sets with a big body receiver like Kenny Galladay on the outside. There's just so many ways that this offense can create mismatches. Because with Kelvin Benjamin, even though he isn't in shape he was in college, his routes and his hands and his talent catching the football is still undeniable. I think the Giants only benefit from having a 6'6" monster of a target on the field. Having a guy with immense talent when you don't even need to use him and you can hide him and put him in your back pocket is huge for a team, especially when defenses go over hours and hours and hours of film prepping for a team every week. Throwing a wild card out there in certain sets can give the offense a huge advantage, and based on his current situation, he actually has no leverage to ask for any money, so he won't even make a dent in the salary cap. So it's going to be up to the Giants if they see a 10 play a game guy being worth a roster spot, but to me I think it's absolutely worth it because if nothing else, he's just going to confuse the defense, and there's always going to be a question mark on what he's going to do when he's out there on the field. But let me know what you guys think. I think the Giants are definitely a spot where I don't think they're going to be risking much, but I also didn't see him at camp. Maybe his weight gain was way too much and it made him way too slow or unathletic. Maybe he hasn't been humbled and he's going to be a problem in the locker room, but from an X's and O's perspective, I hope I see him with a comeback this year. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Make sure to comment down below what you guys think, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much. Thanks for checking out the channel, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!